Welcome to Thunder Live on FanDuel Sports Network, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. The Thunder taking on the San Antonio Spurs here inside of Paycom Center and fall short 130-110 on a tough second night of a back-to-back. Inside of this building, there was a lot of action. There were 13 ties, 15 lead changes, and SGA with another 30-point performance, but ultimately a massive fourth quarter for the San Antonio Spurs, who walk away victorious in this one here tonight. As we welcome you inside of the building and into Thunder Live, I'm Paris Lawson, alongside the Thunder's very own Royce Young. And Royce, the second night of a back-to-back and less than 24 hours since the Thunder last played back in Oklahoma City, and the Spurs with a lot of energy in this game. This was a tough one.
Yeah, absolutely. Credit to the Spurs. They played great throughout this game, had great energy, as you said, shot the ball magnificently. Keldon Johnson is not, he's a good player, but he's not somebody that you're typically that concerned about. I think he hit 6 of 9 from 3 in this one. Devin Vassell is a good shooter, but he knocked down the looks that he got throughout the game. So credit to the Spurs. They played great. But look, one of the big things that people have to remember about an NBA season is not every game is going to go great. And whether you have dreams of, setting all-time records or what it is, you're going to have some nights that the ball doesn't go in the basket and the other team plays great. Right. Newsflash, the other team is trying to win also.
That's right.
And they're playing very hard to win. So, this is one of the things about having to have broad shoulders when you have a good team. Other teams really want to beat you. Their crowd was charged up once they could feel like their team had a chance against the Thunder. You got to just take this game, learn from it, and move on.
Yeah, Oklahoma City certainly with a lot to take from this one. And we know that they never leave any lessons on the table. They're certainly going to go back to the drawing board after this game. Let's bring in our friends Chris Fisher and Michael Cage, who are on the call for this game here tonight. Guys, what'd you see?
Yeah, thank you, Paris. Unfortunately, you see the final score, and it's not a great resemblance of how this game really unfolded, Michael, because you look here, you got 15 lead changes and 13 ties. This was a great game until the fourth quarter, but the Spurs just a little too much offense in the second half. The Thunder just couldn't quite get it together on the defensive end, and obviously the good shooting of San Antonio, a little bit too much to overcome.
Well, this is a weird game. I mean, you talk about Thunder shot 54% from the field. Most of the time you shoot 54% from the field, you're going to win ball games. Now the Spurs, give them credit. I thought they played, really hard. It showed they had the legs. The Thunder kind of ran out of gas in that second half. And then, you're trying to slow the game down and try to find other ways to score. And the biggest issue for the Thunder tonight, in my opinion, just couldn't get to the free throw line. Just 7 attempts all night, had 6 attempts in the first half and only just 7 in the second. But you look at that third statistic down, 24 attempts. That's a big number in a game when you say there's 15 lead changes and 13 ties. The Spurs got to the paint, until the three-point shot started falling for them. Then the turnover battle kind of went back and forth. But just a strange game where the Thunder can shoot 54% from the field, not get to the free throw line, and lose by double digits.
Strange game, uncharacteristic on the defensive end. There's some impressive numbers from San Antonio, but we know what this Thunder team means on that end of the floor. And the good news is for OKC, Paris and Royce, they're going to get a chance to go up against San Antonio again on Thursday.
Yeah, we know how competitive this Thunder group is. They are very much looking forward to that opportunity to square off against the Spurs in just a couple of days back in Oklahoma City. Chris and Michael, thank you so much as always. And Royce, I thought Michael brought up a really good point. This was a strange game. If you look at the box score, it doesn't look like the score should have panned out the way it did, considering the fact that Thunder shot 54% from the field, 40% from the three-point line. And the weirdest part about it was the free throw differential.
I thought that was a typo for a second.
Yeah, I was a little concerned. I was like, did the graphics
7?
get that right? No.
It's supposed to be like a 1 at least in front of that?
That is accurate. The Thunder only shot 7%.
I mean, listen, there are games that there are outliers in the NBA where the free throw differential gets a little bit stretched like that. But, I will say this. For all this conversation that exists on social media, I mean, anybody can try to lay out facts and information in front of you about this narrative about the Thunder having some sort of special advantage with the officiating. I mean, games like this happen all the time for the Thunder. This is not an unusual thing. The free throw differential goes negatively far more often than it goes positively. So just take note of it. That's all I'm saying. Just take note of a game like this.
Yeah, the numbers certainly paint a different picture. So certainly pay attention to that. The Thunder certainly going to walk away with a lot of lessons after this matchup against the San Antonio Spurs. But you stick around with us here on Thunder Live, because when we come back, we're breaking down the game of one Shai Gilgeous-Alexander doing what he does best, scoring over 30. Here in San Antonio, Texas, the Thunder with the rematch against the San Antonio Spurs, falling short 130-110. But let's get to tonight's forward player of the game. Now, you heard of Elf on a Shelf, but have you heard of Shai in the paint? Because he was cooking here tonight, 33 points, and did so efficiently. 14 of 22 from the field.
Yeah, 14 buckets in an NBA game is an incredible thing, and SGA did it a variety of ways. And get physical defense on him all night long, just stayed with it, created space. Had a number of buckets in the second half, Paris, where I kind of thought it was like, oh, that's an MVP kind of bucket. The Thunder needed that one. Yeah. That three that he hit from the wing, it felt like that was going to be the kind that kept the Thunder in the game. But OKC was far less about the scoring from the Thunder. It was much more about the defensive stops and their inability to come up with enough of them, because SGA played a magnificent offensive game overall.
Yeah, and he didn't just score the basketball. You see those 8 assists as well. That is his 23rd game this season with 30 or more points. He leads the NBA now 101 consecutive games with 20 or more points, which obviously also leads the NBA as well. Absolute consistency from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And the San Antonio Spurs obviously threw a lot of different things at him in this game, a lot of different defenders at him to try to slow him down. And it really speaks to Shai's problem solving out there on the court to continue to find ways to put the ball through the hoop.
No doubt. I mean, the Spurs used that tactic in the NBA Cup. They really just tried to glue themselves to Shai, really play him high up the floor, physically defend him. And then again, when you have a guy like Victor Wembanyama on the other end, kind of defending the paint, it just tilts the geometry of the game right there. And that, you know, some of those blow bys that you think, well, if that guy's going to suck up tight on me like that, I can just get right by him and get to the rim. Well, there's a guy that's like, 11 feet tall waiting back there, and that makes it a little bit different. Yeah. So, that's one of those challenges that you have to work throughout the game. But again, SGA solved the problems clearly, 14 of 22 shooting incredibly well.
Yeah, and helped open things up for his teammates as well with those 8 assists. And all-around great offensive night for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. All right, stick with us here on Thunder Live, because when we come back, we got to break down the Christmas Day rematch between these very two teams, the Thunder and the Spurs, squaring off in just a couple days. We've got your breakdown right after this. It was a really warm evening here in San Antonio as the Thunder squared off against the Spurs. Let's get you over to the press room so we can hear from Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault postgame.
Mark, it's not often that the turnover battle is plays out the way that it did tonight. What factors do you attribute to just that aspect of the game? And also maybe if that was connected to the paint defense as well.
Yeah, I thought, credit them. They played great, on both ends of the floor from a energy standpoint, execution standpoint. They deserved to win the game through and through. Obviously, that was a statement with the way they played. So, they were the better team tonight. We can learn from it. Obviously, we have them in 2 days. So we have some lessons from the game that we can carry over. And obviously, we need to be a better team on Christmas if we want to beat them.
Obviously, the head of the snake is Wemby, guys like De'Aaron, but just as well with your guys' role players, how impactful it is. Supporting cast gets into it. Just how impactful was it with, Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes? How much did they kind of change things tonight?
They were great. There was a balanced attack. They played in a great team rhythm. Like I said, they executed really well. They played really hard. They played with a sense of purpose on both ends of the floor, and they got contributions up and down their roster. So, like I said, it was a great team win for them. They deserve to win.
It was the second game with them. Even when Wemby goes out, they still play well.
Yeah, they're a really good team. He was out for a minute with the injury, and they were really good during that stretch. So he's a really, really good player, but he's not their whole team at all. They've got a lot of good guys. They got good balance. They're well coached. Like I said, they were super sharp tonight. Play with a great sense of purpose, and they executed really well.
What are 1 or 2 things that have to change to flip the script on Christmas for these guys?
I just, obviously the execution level for them was higher than us. We did some good things, but not nearly as well as they did. I thought they brought the, aggression to the game more so than we did for much of the game. I thought the first half was pretty good, but obviously in the second half that got away from us.
Yeah, you hear from Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault a couple of key takeaways that the Thunder's going to take from this one and try to apply them the next time they face the San Antonio Spurs in just a couple of days on Christmas Day in Oklahoma City. execution and aggression, something that the San Antonio Spurs had a little bit more than OKC tonight.
And look, this has been something the Thunder going back multiple seasons, but especially last year were really good at, was taking a game that they didn't perform well in and bouncing back. They didn't lose 2 games in a row basically all of last year. And so, that's not to set a standard of that'll never happen, because again, it's the NBA, things happen, and it's a challenging season and it's a challenging schedule. But when you're playing good teams, there's a lot to take away from it. And it is an advantage to be able to say, okay, look, here are the areas where the Thunder did not execute well throughout the game. Like Coach Mark said, in that second half, especially late third quarter, early fourth quarter, the Spurs were hyper aggressive and really just kind of got the Thunder on their heels for a few different points in the game. And so can learn from those situations. Another big thing is only 8 turnovers for the Spurs. It's not like the Thunder count on turning teams over, but the Spurs have good ball handlers. They have a depth of guards that they can really put the ball in different guys' hands. So the Thunder can't necessarily count on turning them over as much, but finding ways to disrupt the Spurs more should be a focus going into the next year.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to on that Christmas Day for a multitude of reasons. The Thunder earning an opportunity to play on Christmas Day for the first time in a long time. Royce, you have been with this organization for a long time. How special is this?
Oh, I mean, it's an honor. I mean, the league selects teams to play on Christmas for a reason. And this young Thunder team, they probably deserved it last year, but now that they have earned their way onto really the kind of the marquee matchup right there in the middle of the day, like J-Dub said, you get done opening your presents, you flip on the TV, and the Thunder are going to be on it. So it's an incredible thing. I've been a part of a lot of Christmas Day games, and it's always a special thing to get to go to them, and especially when they're in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, can't wait to see what the energy is like inside of Paycom Center on Christmas Day. And here's a reminder as to what time that game is. The perfect time on Christmas Day, 1:30 p.m. Central Time. That game will not be on FanDuel Sports Network. That is an ABC exclusive on Christmas Day as the Thunder squares off against the San Antonio Spurs. The next time we will see you on our broadcast will be on Sunday afternoon as the Thunder square off against the Philadelphia 76ers, also in Oklahoma City, and that game tips off at 2:30 p.m. But of course, Thunder Live will get you going at 2. But that wraps us up here inside of Frost Bank Center, where we saw a lot of back and forth action between Oklahoma City and the San Antonio Spurs in their second matchup of the season. Lucky for us, we get one more here in a couple of days. These two teams squaring off on Christmas Day in Oklahoma City. We'll look forward to that one, but we'll see you next time on Sunday. Until then, have a very Merry Christmas.